Welcome to the 212th episode of News Dump, where we run through the hottest topics in the Lewis County news scene and discuss. I'm local man Aaron VanTuyl, joined as always by Chronicle executive editor Eric Schwartz. Wheel star third wheel young Kody has once again abandoned us in favor of adventures at the bowling alley. I
feel like that whole narrative's getting old, and he's officially on probationary status, meaning he will not get specific invites. He's going to have to work to get back on this podcast.
I wanted to ask him about his trip to Las Vegas, but
I know
he's ducking.
A 20-year-old. So if you're interested in becoming the third regular host of the News Dump, send your application to chroniclenewsdump@gmail.com.
Yeah, we will respond.
Cover letter and references and
an audio recording of what you sound like.
A resume with citations and a take. Yeah. Your hottest take.
Yeah, mostly just your hottest take.
Yeah, about local news.
Yeah. Do you have any preambles? Oh, we're sponsored by Summit Funding, Shields Outfitters, and the Roof Doctor. It's slipping without Kody here. Everything's off the rails.
I know. What are our plans? Are we going to do a Thanksgiving edition next week?
I don't know what we're thankful for.
Yeah.
Is that what you're getting at?
Yeah, I think so.
Sure.
I'm thankful for you, Aaron.
I'm thankful for you as well, but mostly Kody, who's not here.
Gross. That was disgusting. It won't be repeated. I'm thankful for Shields Outfitters.
We should do a lighted tractor parade preview, too. Maybe
that'd be fun.
Guests on for that.
Yeah, that'd be fun. We could get Hallie back on, maybe?
Yeah. Some of our fellow judges.
Yes, we are judges.
We don't want to tip our hand at all, but, we can be bought.
Did you get the email to the judges?
Yeah,
Did you also go check out the email list to see who else is in the mix?
I did, yeah.
Yeah. Pretty prestigious crowd.
We have made it.
Not really sure how we made the list, but I'm happy to be there.
It's going to be exciting for sure.
It's a lot of pressure, Everyone waits to see what the judges decide. That's pretty much the only reason for going to the lighted tractor parade.
Yeah, everybody. It's not so much about the tractors. It's about knowing which ones are the best.
Napavine is doing a bit of style biting this year. They're going to have their own lighted Christmas parade on the week before the Centralia lighted Christmas parade.
Really?
Which, as far as I know, are those the only two nighttime parades in Lewis County?
Yes.
Somebody was suggesting the Santa parade in Chehalis should move to a night function.
I guess. Don't,
It makes for better photos.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
Parades are more of a morning thing, though, get your day going.
Yeah, but a morning parade in the winter can be kind of iffy.
Yeah.
It's cold. Look at it outside right now. I wouldn't want to parade in this.
The lighted tractor parade, best community event, 3 or 4 years running in the best of Lewis County, which is above reproach when it comes to our techniques, mechanics, approach to democracy.
Yeah, to how the ballots are tallied and everything.
Yes, it's all fair, above board.
Yeah, Chad was dragging people in off the streets and making them verify their signatures last I saw.
Yeah, you got to bring an ID.
Yeah. Preambles. Any other preambles?
No, I got nothing else.
News items. First up, attendees debate appropriateness of novel during Centralia School Board meeting. We finally got that highly anticipated board meeting about the erotic book, which some people are calling the most disgusting piece of sexually depraved, obscene literature since Memories of Melancholy Whores.
Who said that?
It's a real book, by the way.
Okay.
And unlike the self-abuse inflicted by the protagonist of the Poet X, the book in question, the meeting was anticlimactic. It didn't look all that packed, and most of the takes seemed pretty reasonable, really. A student spoke and seemed to have a far better grasp on reality than some of the adults, saying there's a few poems with mature themes, but the book isn't inappropriate. This was student Embriana Schluter. She said if some parents don't want their kids to read it, then that's their choice, and I support that. However, there are also several other books that they could have chosen to read. And that really, we're gonna keep going because this is hilarious to me, but that kind of solves the whole thing.
I don't know, man. It's it's kind of one of those stories that if you've worked in newspapers for any amount of time, you've done the story, you've seen it several times. It usually doesn't end with much of a different result than proponents come together, voice their opinions on the record. And just for balance, Trisha Zeiss, Director of Community Outreach at Bethel Church, was at the meeting, and her comments were that she found the book to be, quote, very damaging, especially for our students and youth who have been affected by sexual abuse. I can't imagine anybody advocating that this book should be read in schools to 14-year-olds.
I'm not sure if Ms. Zeiss has read the book, but it's also about a high schooler struggling against her mother's stringent Catholicism.
And it's erotic at times. Right? Have you read it?
No, have you?
Did you just pull up the description like I did?
That was in the story.
Oh, okay. Well, I read that as well.
So
There's been an update, though. You go ahead. Get your takes out.
Yeah, my take was going to be, why would any teenager ever relate to such drivel?
Yeah, true.
Sean Swope, who got the people riled up online about this, did not attend the meeting. And Laura Miller, who has kids in the district, said she didn't want books determined by upset parents. No one ever actually has sex or does drugs in the book, she said. It honestly has an extremely wholesome message about learning good communication and how to manage teenage emotions. I'm impressed with the people that showed up and gave thoughtful and obvious comments on the situation.
So you're impressed with the people who showed up with the opinion that is similar to yours, is what you're saying.
Yes, I am.
The others should be shamed.
Well, the other ones were like their opinions were...
They're wrong.
It's not that they're like, this is inappropriate. Kids shouldn't have to read it. And their response is, well, they don't have to.
Hell.
It's like, well, they shouldn't have surprised us with this. It's like, well, they knew beforehand. It's like, well, you shouldn't force it on them. It's like they had choices.
Mitchell did mention in his coverage that Commissioner Swope, who was opposed to this book and asked people to come out, also wanted to have the book rating system for TRL. And on that one, I was a little more like, not like, I'm not saying on anybody's side, but where the books were being displayed at the library, I got why he was a little worked up about that one in the children's
You
section.
mean the banned books display and banned books?
No,
month?
it was the lower shelf in the children's section, my friend. That's what I'm saying. You don't have to agree with someone's whole point to say they have a point within their greater point. But a little different. Anyways, just saying that was noted there. And then we had a follow-up in today's edition. The Centralia School Board will review the policy for course design and the selection and adoption of instruction materials during a study session next month and could adopt a modified policy early next year. That's according to Superintendent Lisa Grant, who followed up with us after the meeting.
Yeah, and that follow-up, just reiterating some of the things. It was one of 5 books a specific group of kids could pick from. They had the option of switching books if they or their parents didn't like it. And again, this kind of solved, like the parents already had the answers they wanted. They had the solutions they wanted right in front of them, and they just instead decided to post on Facebook about how inappropriate it is that their daughter might be reading a book about cranking off.
Do you know...
Which seems way more damaging to me than just telling your kid to tell the teacher they're not going to read the book. If you... riddle me this. This. You're a 14-year-old young man at Forks High School, and an inappropriate book is on the...
All the girls love him, all the boys want to be him.
Inappropriate book is on the list, and your mother discovers it. What do you think is the worst thing that could possibly happen? Your mother makes you go tell the teacher that you don't think you're going to read it. Your mother does nothing, or your mother goes in front of everybody in the community and talks about you reading a book about jerking off.
Yeah.
Which one of those things would you least like to see?
No, let's relate it to ourselves.
Answer the question.
Let's relate it to ourselves. I wouldn't be a narc. I would giggle at the book and put it away. That's 14-year-old me.
Yes.
That's what I would have done.
That's every 14-year-old.
Not every, apparently. Oh, look who it is. You didn't hear, but you are on probationary status, so you're going to have to wait to be acknowledged.
I answered the question. I said C.
Let me ask you this, though, Aaron. Do you remember what books you were reading freshman year? Because I have a very good memory. It was like a very transformational class for me.
Yeah.
We did Lord of the Rings, Hot Zone. I can't remember. Those are the 2 main ones I remember. But they weren't risque selections. No one was complaining. However, when it came time to watch the Hot Zone, which is a rated R film, motion picture, you had to take a permission slip home, get it signed, and bring it back. So guess who spent that period in the library by himself?
You didn't get to watch the book.
I had to sit and watch it in the library and read the book. Yeah.
When we were in 7th grade, our teacher, Mr. Kaut, great teacher, he had us watch the movie Schindler's List.
Oh, yeah, we watched that one.
And let me tell you, Mr. Kaut was sitting at the back of the room on his phone while some of the more erotic scenes were playing, and he noticed this mid-phone call and kind of went, "Oh shit!" He did not make it to the front of the room in time to change anything.
God, I don't even remember an erotic scene from Schindler's List.
Well, there's
you pervert.
That's all he remembers.
That is the only thing I remember about it. I was 7th grade and there was boobs on screen in class. Anyway.
Welcome, though, Kody. Nice to have you.
Yeah, sorry, I was out storm chasing, guys. Did you know?
You were shooting bowling.
Did you know there's a bomb cyclone rolling into the Twin Cities as we speak, and you guys are just sitting here podcasting
on the 2nd floor like heroes?
Yeah.
The people of East County are in grave danger.
This thing is like rated for 50-mile-per-hour winds. I'm telling you.
Yeah, this building.
Yeah, we're gonna
at least
toppling down.
Well, that wall on the west side is like concrete, right? So
that's not going anywhere.
As long as the winds are coming from that side, we're fine.
Yeah,
as long as we're blowing in from the coast.
Drafting off of the roller drome as well.
Exactly, yeah.
So
Anyway, back to this erotic book.
Oh, God, you got more to say?
You know what? I just want to quote Henry Miller, the great Henry Miller. Everybody says sex is obscene. The only true obscenity is war.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah. Anyway.
Abolish war books.
Yeah, you know what? No history books. Get the Bible out of there, too.
It's just like I said, it's hard for me to get super engaged in this because it's something that happens somewhat regularly, and I don't know. I think there's a whole set of people who have no wiggle room whatsoever, like yourself, where it's just like they're trying to ban books if someone doesn't like something in the book and they say something. And then there's the other side that's like has seen this like paraded out on Fox News or whatever 100 times, and they're immediately like, I've seen this on TV, and like the two sides go at it, and the general public is just like, I'm gonna just parent my kids, it's gonna be fine.
Yeah, I think you're right. But also, I don't think anybody has ever gone in front of a school board to complain about a book, and in retrospect, like a few years later, people look back at it and go like, wow, they were onto something.
You don't think there was anybody like 30s Germany didn't really like Mein Kampf?
They're trying to ban Anne Frank books over here. What are you talking about?
I don't think
The Diary of Anne Frank is on the most banned list ever.
Well, you'd be upset about that. Maybe we should move on.
Anyway.
Aaron has a bit of a historical crush.
Oh, really?
On a child.
Jesus. What are you talking about, you pervert? Anyway.
Moving on.
Next item. Godliness returns to the Egg City.
Finally.
Worshippers return to historic Winlock Church. This is the Winlock Sacred Heart Catholic Church, which was shuttered by the Archdiocese in 2014. They opened it back up, had an afternoon service on Sunday with about 100 people. It's been sold twice since 2014, but a group of local families chipped in to get it bought back and reopened. Yeah, this is a cool story. But also, the Catholic Church couldn't afford to buy this one themselves?
I mean, when they shut it down, they said that the congregation was not capable of sustaining itself anymore. So I'm imagining the numbers had dwindled.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, it's cool to see it back open.
Yeah, it's a good story. We got some video from Ridley. Mitchell went there Saturday and Sunday. They went there for the cleanup and then went back for the service and then delivered a 400-word story and was like, there you go.
Yeah.
It was really good. It's not bad at all.
All right. Next item, speakers highlight Lewis County's potential at Bioeconomy Summit. I'm going to throw this out there. Either you guys want to tell me what bioeconomy is?
Yeah, you read the story and you'll know.
I read it. And,
I told
You still don't know?
is it like a pulpy mass factory?
Yeah, pretty much.
I told
kind of what you do here.
I told Ridley I went to a bioeconomy summit. She's like, isn't it bioeconomic? And I was like, oh, shit. Because I thought I just spelled it wrong on all the cut lines.
Oh, you had
but
it right.
I didn't. I was right. It's different, I guess.
This whole topic brought me to bring up the Biodome, the movie, Pauly Shore. Mm-hmm. And no one knew who Pauly Shore was in the news
Brendan
meeting
Fraser
besides
in that
Owen
one,
and I.
or is he only an Encino Man?
He's not in Biodome, I don't believe.
Like Devin Sawa or Breckenmeyer, one of those guys is in Biodome too, I think.
The Baldwin brother, though, right?
Yeah, there could be.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
All right.
Great motion
it's
picture.
It's a good movie. It's like, what if you lived under a biodome?
It's a good science movie.
Yeah. They had a lot of good science movies.
But again, nobody knew who Pauly Shore was, and that was upsetting to me. Getting old.
So, yes, this is obviously the business of selling body parts. The event included keynote speakers from the USDA, the American Forest Resource Council, and the Bioeconomy Development Opportunity Zone. It's shortened to BDO Zone, and I always think it says BO Zone. I'm like, I bet those guys don't smell great.
Yeah, you don't want that.
No. Lewis County got the first AA rating for woody biomass. Do you guys know what that is?
It's just, You
were there.
We got I was there.
It's because the county has 10 companies dedicated to pulpwood chipping capacity and generates more than 600,000 bone-dried tons of woody biomass.
Bone-dried tons of woody biomass.
See how many trees we got around here, Aaron?
We're the woodiest.
For now.
The woodiest county.
This bomb cyclone's going to take care of that real quick.
Tell me about it.
Richard DeBolt, director of the Economic Alliance of Lewis County, said the designation has, quote, awakened people to the byproducts and the resources that we have available in our community, which, as Kody said, trees.
Trees. I sure hope a branch doesn't go through my roof.
Yeah, I hope so too. Or you would have to call the roof doctor.
Oh, you should have swatted that one away.
Wow, great work. Good to have you back, Kody.
Yeah, you're welcome.
You can call the roof doctor at 360-736-0246 for all of your roofing needs. You know what they do? Emergency roofing. And I have a feeling they're going to be getting some calls.
They're going to be pretty busy after this whole bomb cyclone rolls
Wednesday,
through.
Thursday, the roof doctor is going to be busy. But you know what? Never too busy for a customer.
Nope.
Just visit them online, theroofdoctor.com. Call them up get a free estimate. Have them come out for some emergency roofing repairs. Get your house fixed up after this windstorm and prepped and even better than ever for the next one. Schwartz, thoughts on the roof doctor?
I was just searching for some reviews to share, and of course, this godforsaken hellscape we live on, AI is the first thing to pop up every time now.
Oh.
So AI has this to say: reviews for the roof doctor in Chehalis are generally positive, with customers praising their professionalism, competitive pricing, quality workmanship, and commitment to customer satisfaction. Many highlight the clean work site they leave behind and their ability to accommodate scheduling needs, with several recommending them highly for roof replacements and repairs.
High praise from the robots.
The robots are in favor. They have a lot more to say too.
I was just arguing with AI for like 20 minutes earlier today about a package from FedEx.
Man,
shipped to me. It's not even people anymore. It's just an AI
what was
robot.
it?
I ordered a new laptop, a MacBook, like
Oh, nice.
2 weeks ago, and they've tried to deliver it to my house like 3 times, but you need a signature, and so they just are refusing to try now, and they won't let me pick it up anywhere because it needs a signature.
wow.
It's awful. The AI just keeps sending me in circles. And then I call. You know what happens when I call?
What, you get AI?
It's a robot.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
Yeah, that sucks, man.
Uh-huh.
Next item. MGP celebrates federal broadband grant awarded to Lewis County PUD. I mostly put this on here. When did you start shortening like official headline abbreviation to MGP?
It's a good question, and we're the only ones doing it right now.
Yeah.
That I've seen. I'll answer your question. The Colombian is stubbornly still calling her Marie Perez, like it has for several years now, which has surprised me because if you ask her directly or just asked her office, she says Glusenkamp Perez is the full name. So anyways, that's just an aside. We did it for Jamie Herrera Butler. It's just 3 names, and it becomes problematic when writing headlines sometimes.
If Joe Kent would have won, would it have been JK?
JK. No. You got to have 3 names to get the acronym. But so we decided that just for brevity, everyone knows who it is when we use it. So and generally there's a photo attached as well if there is any confusion. So
okay.
If we ever get a MGK Congress
because someday
woman or man,
Machine Gun Kelly could run for Congress.
Could be appointed any day now.
Yes.
Like, we don't know.
Secretary of Poser. Anyway, last month the USDA
Secretary
awarded
of Sad.
the Lewis County PUD got a $4.8 million grant to install a fiber to the premises network to access 1,152 residents and 16 businesses. More internet for more people.
It's also the third news item we've had on this specific thing because USDA put out a news release, we wrote it up. Lewis County PUD put out a news release, we wrote it up, and then MGP put out a news release and we wrote it up. They really need to get together on their news releases.
Yeah, a little coordination. Next item, Lewis County Director of Fluff Clyde to begin training to serve area veterans. Clyde is the veteran therapy dog in training. He had his first birthday this week with both county staff and his veteran and specialized recreation friends. He was originally picked up as a stray puppy on Twin Peaks Drive in Toledo last January with his mom. He's already appeared to be at least 2 months old at that time. His mother, a Great Pyrenees, had since been adopted. When county staff noted his docile nature and relaxed disposition, the County Veteran Service Office moved to adopt him with plans to train him as a therapy dog. However, there's no word yet on if Clyde's position will be cut with the upcoming budget adjustments the county is making.
Yeah, it's getting pretty bad over there here.
Yeah, we'll get to that in our next item.
You can't leave this item, though, without mentioning Yogi, the new dog that's over there at the Veterans Museum.
We're just doubling the dog budget?
Yeah, he belongs to Jesse Lloyd. He's the Marine Corps veteran and director of Veterans Journey Forward that operates out of the museum. Has a 12-week-old sheepdog poodle mix named Yogi, who is also going to train to be a veterans therapy dog at some point.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, great dogs. I like it.
So yeah, the county budget story. The county is going to freeze or cut positions as it seeks to close the budget deficit. Budget Administrator Becky Butler said the preliminary budget will freeze about 15 positions in the general fund and will not fill or cut additional positions not funded by the general fund. You covered county at one point. What covered by the general fund? What are the positions not covered? Are those like state grants, things like that?
I'm sure that applies to it. Departments that probably draw their own revenue, like 911 now that they have their tax, things like that.
All right. These moves will impact services across the board. The county has frozen or cut roughly 30 positions since 2023, and the reductions mean the county will have fewer employees than in 2008. Butler said, "We never fully recovered from the recession." She was talking about the 2008 recession.
Or the Young Jeezy album of the same name.
That's probably what it was. We were still down a significant amount of employees from the cuts that were made from 2009 to 2012. So we're again going backward with increased service levels. I'm like, how do you not? 16 years?
Yeah, I mean,
it's a long ways to go back.
It's everybody, too, though. I say this when we talk about budgeting every week. We have not covered a single local municipality or county government this year in the budget cycle that isn't facing some sort of large deficit. Yeah. And, I don't know, like Centralia max out the property tax, but that's a one-time fix. I'm kind of negative on it after a few conversations, and I think that eventually you're going to have to start cutting some full-time positions, and it's going to hurt, and government will be small, but maybe that's what everybody wants around here, right?
Yeah.
They can start in the insurance commissioner's office.
I was waiting for that.
Why?
I was going to go for it if you weren't.
You know, neither of you even know what I do at work.
No one knows what you guys do.
You actually told me one time because I asked you.
You fell asleep halfway through.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, next item. Lewis County approves increased rate fees and schedules the schedule to take effect on January 1st. Do you have a private road you want to name? Beginning next year, it will cost you an additional $190 in Lewis County. Won't someone please think of the destitute private road owners out there?
Don't you own a private road?
No.
It's pretty much a private road.
It's a driveway.
You insist that emergency personnel not use it.
Well,
I did not insist that.
For $190, it can be a private road, and you can name it whatever you want.
And that's not the only fee increase residents can expect starting next year. The commissioners approved increases to permit application fees. It will also take effect January 1st. The fees to apply to change the name of the private road will go from $35 to $100. Oh, God.
I mean, some of these are fairly major. You're starting with the small ones, but
do you think there's somebody out there with a private road they live on that they've been meaning to change, and they're getting this notice, and they're like, son of a bitch, and they look up at the sign that says, like, Dick Road, and they're like, it's just gonna have to wait.
Yeah, I don't know.
The installation fee will increase from $125 to $250. I assume that's, like, for the sign.
Yeah. This was just an example. All the fees are going up.
The fee to apply to a large lot subdivision with 1 to 4 lots will go from $2,550 to $5,665. Just taxing the common owner of a subdivision big enough to be split into 4 lots and sold to death.
You hate rich people.
No, I mean, these are probably needed increases.
No, I don't disagree with you on that because it fits with the other point. If you're gonna invite development and get development, you got to figure out some sort of way to make money off it. Otherwise, it's gonna be the property tax that the property owners that pay the price.
Do we have impact fees, or is that like a school district specific thing? I can never remember.
It's like a jurisdiction specific thing, and you have to work to kind of go after those. And not many people around here do that. Not many governments around here do that.
I remember Napavine considered it probably. It's like 15 years ago, and I can't remember if
Winlock does it. Winlock pursues impact fees. I know on big projects, Chehalis has in the past. Like I think the first time I ever heard about impact fees was when Walmart came to town way back when.
They should.
Yeah. But yeah, there should probably be more of that because if you don't charge the fee, if you don't get that money off top, you have to get it eventually if there is going to be an impact, and that's just going to go to the taxpayers. So don't hate the increases. Also don't have a road I'm looking to rename.
Not yet.
Or should we name Aaron's Road?
I don't have a road.
In Forks, there was a road that didn't have a name that was just had a sign that said Primitive Road, and someone scratched the R off and put a W there, so it was Primitive Road. It was a great, stupid local joke that remains to this day.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Anything else, or shall we take the break?
Take the break. We can do a roundup.
Hi, this is Jeff and Julie from Fairway Lanes.
Jeff and I met Jacek of Summit Funding at our bowling center, so when we fell in love with this community and it was time to relocate, we knew we would be calling Summit Funding.
They understand that everyone has a unique situation when buying a home.
He had already helped 2 of our employees get into their own homes. The Summit Funding team exceeded our expectations. It was a seamless experience with great communication from his whole team.
Thank you to Summit Funding for making our buying experience special and memorable.
All right, we're back. It's time for segments, and first up is Tales from the Takes page. Schwartz? What have the letter writers addressed to you recently?
We've had letters have slowed down a little bit. However, once a year there is a Centralia High School teacher who makes it an assignment or extra credit. I'm not sure. So I'm sitting on a treasure trove of high school letters to the editor that will trickle out here this week.
Any good stuff you want to preview?
I haven't read any super serious. I think I mentioned one of them last week, but a couple of the letters we had in this edition, pray Lewis County remains safe and conservative under Bob Ferguson as governor. I know this one you could identify with.
I'm sure the top thing on Ferguson's list of priorities is to straighten out Lewis County.
He's going to stick it to us, tell you what.
He'll be down here all right.
We had nice work, Lewis County Public Works. A guy had a pothole that he seemed to keep hitting, so he finally called and said something, and then by the time he came home from work that day, they were out there fixing it, and he was just giving them an attaboy.
I wonder if it was Wackert.
Could have been.
Yeah.
Who knows? It's a Public Works man. Amid assessor's office issues, I hope we can afford to stay. That's another letter upset with property taxes. More the process of, like, appealing them. But we've gotten a few of those lately. Julie McDonald, baffling over gas prices and shorebirds. She was just questioning why gas is so much more expensive in this state than it is when she goes to Oregon, specifically to the coast, and is able to get cheaper gas. Mm-hmm. AI also provided her the answer she noted, and the CCA, Climate Commitment Act, was one of them. Mm-hmm. One of the reasons why. Brian Mitke wrote Time to Celebrate Renewed Life at Winlock Catholic Church. That was a story we had earlier. John Braun and the Chronicle editorial board just beating on the same drum. By focusing on governing, Ferguson can turn the page on Inslee-era partisanship, Braun says. Editorial board says, can Ferguson prioritize Washington's interests over political battles? Those came in within a couple of days of each other. Let's see what else we have letters-wise. Trump win wasn't unprecedented, aside from him being the first felon to be elected president. Landlords need to stop being greedy. And then the one I previewed last week, the pair of letters, Chronicle leans too far to the left. Next letter, Chronicle leans too far to the right.
Look at you, just flailing about like an inflatable man in front of a mattress store.
All over the place. Whatever. I continue to believe after my many years in this fine business that a lot of people just determine what a newspaper's lean is based on the last thing that they read.
Yeah, that's pretty fair.
It doesn't really matter, like if it's a news article or an opinion piece or whatever.
All right. Siren's banger of the week. I actually have two entries on here. One that you suggested. This is the first one. Bail set at $250,000 for man accused of crashing truck in Toledo while drunk. This was David Howard. He drove his F-350 off the road and up against a trailer. Cops arrived to find him with a bottle of bourbon and slurred speech. They asked if he'd been drinking, and he said he'd been drinking since he was 12 years old. High bail. Did I miss something in that?
I mean, I think it was the extremely reckless nature in the crash and the fact that on the ground it could have been a whole lot worse, potentially fatal for someone other than the driver.
They had to make up all that lost time for all the drinking he's been doing since he was 12.
Yeah.
It's
a sad story because the person's obviously struggling. But when I read it, I chuckled because I read it as they said, you've been drinking today. And I've been drinking since I've been 12.
Yeah. He probably has.
Why
would he lie about that? And then the other one, Centralia man accused of theft charged with malicious mischief after damaging jail holding cell monitor and mooning the sheriff's deputy. This is Michael Kellogg. He was in jail for theft, and he busted up one of the monitoring screens in the cell. When the deputy questioned Kellogg about what happened to the broken monitor, he displayed an obscene gesture and spit on the glass, separating himself from the deputy before walking away from the cell door and mooning the deputy, quote, all while yelling profanities, according to court documents. This sounds like how I leave the studio every week.
That's true. He also told the judge he did not want to leave jail. He was just fine where he's at, and he's going to take it to trial and stick it to the man whilst living comfortable down there in downtown Chehalis.
All right. Maybe McCroskey needs to come back and make the jail more inhospitable.
Maybe.
You want to talk about your favorite store in the entire world?
The Chehalis Outfitters. They're having their Happy Thanksgiving Day sale. Began on November 14th. It goes through November 27th. They also have a holiday open house coming up from 4 to 7 p.m. on December 5th with free Santa photos, samples, demos, and giveaways.
Are we all three going?
We need to
Santa
go
photos?
get our
Santa
picture
photo?
with Santa, yeah.
Yeah.
All of us together.
Let's do a live podcast from Shayless
From
Outfitters.
Santa's lap.
From Santa's. Can we have Santa on the pod?
They also have new holiday hours starting on November 30th. They're going to be open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Saturday. If you're staring
just
down
cracking the whip.
if you're staring down the barrel of this cyclone bomb nuke weather phenomenon, they've got hip waders over there.
I thought you were going to make a gun joke.
Yeah, I thought you were,
no, yes.
I thought you were talking
Yes.
about the massive gun selection.
You will also need a
Shayless
gun
Outfitters.
in the post-apocalyptic world that will greet us tomorrow morning after all of our trees are laid to waste.
Put the cyclone in your sights with the new Remington pump action.
The only way to stop this storm is to shoot it down. Oh, man.
All right.
But yeah,
is
there's
it-
lots of stuff going. I'm getting a little low loading here, slow loading here. But they had a 6-page ad in last Thursday's edition of the Chronicle, and that's up on their Facebook page and website. Check them out, Shayless Outfitters.
They got
Bomb clones
all
already
kinds
got
of-
into our Cron Wi-Fi.
Yeah, the Cron Wi-Fi is hurting right now.
Oh man, so many cool things for sale in there. Yeah, good stuff. Get yourself a sleeping bag in case your bed gets wet.
You get wicked,
From the storm.
Wicked Legos, which hopefully, like the doll, don't include an address to a pornography site. The movie Wicked. Did you see that news story?
Yeah, I saw that.
Directed a lot of children to some very hardcore pornography.
Yeah, that
It's called
link,
The Poet X.
link was purple on your screen, wasn't it, homeboy?
It took me to The Poet X, man.
Let's see. Next up, Facebook comments of the week. So I was looking through these, and the Facebook post text from the Winlock Church reopening video
Oh, boy.
said this was something you wrote, and it started off with volume up in all caps. Worshippers sing during divine liturgy, and then it went on from there. And buddy, I have never so emphatically made sure my computer was muted than when I read that.
Hey, why? It was a musical post. I wanted to make sure people didn't miss it. There's very little action in the video, so you're going to miss out unless you have your volume up.
I'm sure it was great, but there's nothing I hate more than when somebody sends a video and says volume up. It's like,
There's nothing you hate more?
Nope.
No?
Nope.
Not any elected officials at the Lewis County
Nope.
level?
Nope. That's number one.
Okay, fine.
And then some comments on the school board book deal. This commenter says, in all caps, stay involved, parents. Don't assume the school board members have you or your children's best interest at heart. Right, well, if they'd been involved, they would have known they could just opt out and not wasted everyone's time with all this.
I don't know. That's your opinion, bro.
It's literally in the story.
You know, you don't care about the kids. That's fine.
Another comment says it all. Swoop got everyone riled up over his fake virtue signaling, insisting that everyone that cares should show up, then didn't bother to show up himself. Astute point. And then someone else says, you should have to read and report on the book before complaining about it. And someone replies to that comment and says, why? Are you afraid of freedom of speech? Which is like, what are you talking about?
I get it, yeah.
Anyway, what's in the next edition that maybe we missed?
Well, we'll just say what's going to be in the next edition. We'll have a story, a really deep dive into a report of a potentially intoxicated or at least having imbibed officer responding to a Centralia scene recently. Emily has done a good job on that, so we'll have that in the Thursday edition. There's a pet treat testing event coming up. You can go to the Shayless Tractor Store and let your dog try.
Oh, you got to take your dog over there to test him
You
out.
do. Or your girlfriend, one or the other. We've got, did you see the dumped cat story?
I did. 14 cats and like a rabbit.
14 cats and a rabbit. They're being charged with animal cruelty,
Are they
abandonment.
keeping them all tied up together?
Yeah, they
Gonna
took
be some crabbits running
these
around.
two Centralia women, rented a U-Haul, loaded it up with cats, and just like dumped them at Fort Boris Park.
Why did they not have a car?
I don't know. I mean, it
Just
is
the
a lot of
logistics
cats.
are confusing.
Yeah.
U-Haul was probably to remain undercover, I assume.
In an unrelated
Yeah.
story, WDFW is stocking trout at Fort Borst Pond and many other ponds across the area. I thought it was funny. Those two came in at the same time. Let's see, what else do we have here? We have 2 level 3 sex offender notifications this week. Not wanted by law enforcement on this time, but definitely going to freak out anyone who lives on those roads. Mm-hmm. One of them is a transient, though, so that's a wild card. Could be anywhere at any time. The other one is in Winlock. We had the DUI that you mentioned, and then the Great Washington Courts outage of 2024 has been solved.
What the outage? What is this, like the system's down?
They
I saw the
basically
headlines, didn't
shut
read
it
it.
all down. There was unauthorized access to it, which is to criminal histories, filings, and everything. And they were spooked enough that they shut it down for almost, I want to say 2 weeks, that it was inaccessible. The Lewis County court system schedules their calendars out like a week ahead of time, so they were actually in decent shape. But others who rely on that system were stuck for a while. Mm-hmm. And then let's see what else. Hampton Lumber, they made a big donation to Mossy Rock School to replace and repair their instruments because they have a pet band back now.
We actually have a quote from the guy behind the court outage.
It doesn't matter who we are.
Yeah, that's the guy.
Yeah,
What matters is our plan.
He was searching the court records.
Yeah, it was. He was just cleaning all the slates, if
Yeah.
you will.
Yeah. Anyways, we'll have that and a lot more news. It's going to be a good one.
Kody, anything you want to talk about?
No.
You sure?
No.
He's saving all his takes for the sports dump.
Did
right
you
after
do any
this.
storm chasing tonight?
What are you going to take pictures of the rain in the dark?
Yeah, good point.
You can if you want. I'd say have your scanner on if you hear anything like a tree down or something like that. That'd be interesting. Go get a shot of that. But
Alrighty.
I don't know. I don't think that it's going to be the weather phenomena that everyone is.
I would
worried about.
just be ready by like 7:30 in the morning when it's daylight out and you can see what happened.
I worry when Cliff Mass tells me to worry and not a second before, Aaron.
On social issues as well as everything else.
On all issues.
In closing, we're sponsored by Summit Funding, Sheila's Outfitters, and The Roof Doctor. Leave a review and rating on Apple Podcast if you like, or send us an email at chroniclenewsdump@gmail.com. Are we still accepting resumes?
Yes, if you would like to apply for the regular third position on the news dump, send in your resume, references.
And a clip of you giving a take.
Yep. Or you can write out your take if it's really good.
Yeah.
Excuse me?
All right. Thanks for listening.